It's the Happy Families Podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Happy Families Podcast. This is where we answer your questions. If you would like to submit a question, because family life can be a little bit tricky sometimes, it's super easy. Just go to happyfamilies.com.au, happyfamilies.com.au, scroll down until you get to the part where we have the podcasts and click the button, Start Talking, job done. Always helps if you write it out. It helps you to be a bit clearer in what you're asking. happyfamilies.com.au, scroll down to where it says podcasts, click the button, Start Talking. It's that simple. Today on the podcast, we're talking about how to beautify your inner space and why it makes a difference for your family's happiness. We're also talking about grandparents being a little bit traditional and doing things their way when they're looking after the kids. Here we go. Question number 1.
Hi, Justin and Kylie. Amy from Melbourne here. I've been trying to boost mine and my family's well-being lately, and while I'm doing lots of the common things like exercise, nutrition, fresh air, etc., I've been seeing a lot of posts online about the benefits of having indoor plants around the home and the workplace. I'm wondering if there's any science-backed research on the effect of indoor plants on kids and families and mood, sleep, productivity, or even just air quality that would help my family. Thanks.
Amy, love the question. In some ways, it's one of those low stakes kinds of questions. The reason I say that is because when it comes to well-being, while I don't have any solid data that I can lean on to point to what percentage of variability of well-being is supported by having indoor plants, we know that there are other things that make a much, much bigger difference in your children's and your own well-being. So you've touched on a few things. You've highlighted exercise, nutrition, fresh air. These are vital. I mean, the more time your kids are spending in nature, nature is fuel for the soul. The more time they can spend building relationships with meaningful people in their lives, the better it is. And they're the things that I'd be really emphasizing first if I wanted to make a big difference in my family's well-being. It's not that having a beautiful indoor environment doesn't matter. Of course it does. And it does contribute to well-being and happiness and lifting low mood. But these other things will generally have a much greater impact on well-being. So I'd be focusing primarily on the kids having fun, both indoors and outdoors, with a maximal reduction of screen time and screen activity where possible, without becoming fanatical about it, because sometimes screens aren't that big of a deal. When I wrote 10 things every parent needs to know, I think it's on about page 110, 112, somewhere in there. I've got this list. We're using this list in our home at the moment because I've become a little bit excessively militant about screens in our house. And we've pulled out the book and there's a list and it basically says, have you played outside, spent time with a friend, cleaned your bedroom, done your chores, done your art or your music or whatever it is that your extracurricular activity is supposed to be? Have you done all these other high value activities? If you've done all those things, you know what? Fill your boots, get on the screen, you'll be fine. I have to acknowledge there's nothing on that piece of paper that points us to have you stared at greenery with the indoor plant in the corner of your room. Maybe we should have put that there. I don't think that there's that level of value though. The value is in risky play, doing hard things, physical activity, being outside the house, staring at clouds and trying to use your mind to explode the clouds. Once we're at that level, and we're doing those things, then yes, small boosts, diminishing returns, I think, but small boosts to well-being. What you really do this for is because it feels really nice to have nice stuff in your house, nice artwork, plenty of greenery. A couple of weeks ago on the Happy Families podcast, when we did a doctor's desk episode, which we will link to in the show notes, I did emphasize some research highlights that having greenery, whether it's inside or outside, will make a difference for your well-being. There is science there. It does support it. Again, when you partial out the variance that it's contributing to the overall sum of well-being, I would imagine that it's fairly small, but it is measurable. It is statistically significant. It does make a difference. And you know what? It doesn't even have to be a plant. When I was doing the research around this, I found a couple of studies that highlighted that even having pictures on the wall or having a beautified screensaver of lots of greenery, even that can make a difference. So Amy, short answer, fill your boots. Make your indoor spaces as green and beautiful as you want. Obviously, don't spill water all over the carpet. That's not going to do anything for your happiness and well-being, and it'll stink. But this is a great idea. It's a great idea to invest in making indoors beautiful because we do spend a lot of time there, whether we like it or not. Amy, thanks so much for the question. Up next, we talk about grandparents doing things in the way that we don't like them doing it when they're looking after our kids. Okay, question number 2, all about grandparents from Jenny.
Hi, my name is Jenny and I'm in WA and would love some advice. I have a 3-year-old and a newborn. I would love to have my parents look after my 3-year-old 1 to 2 days a week so I can spend one-on-one time with the baby. Whilst my parents love the kids and have good intentions, they are very set on traditional parenting style. For example, using bridal scare tactics to get certain behaviours, discourage physical play in fear of him getting hurt, telling him how to play rather than being child-led. They do have a good relationship with him, but I'm concerned spending time with them will negate my efforts in trying to build his confidence. He is already quite a cautious one. Should I keep him with me or let him be with grandparents 1 to 2 days a week? Thanks for your help.
Jenny from WA, thank you so much for your question. For me, this is a no-brainer. So long as your grandparents are safe, that is, so long as your children are not in any genuine danger of any kind, I just think the more time your kids can spend with them, the better. Yes, they have traditional approaches to parenting. Yes, they're different to your approaches to parenting. But I don't think that matters in the slightest. You are the primary parent, you're the primary caregiver, you're the primary influence in children's lives. And grandparents love their grandkids unconditionally. It's just so delightful to watch them spending time with them. An Australian Institute of Family Studies research report that was published just over 2 years ago showed this. 2 in 5 grandparents in Australia with a grandchild under 13 years of age, so definitely in your demo, Jenny, we're talking about a 3-year-old, were providing some childcare. The proportion providing childcare was higher if the youngest grandchild was under 10 years rather than 10 to 12 years. Okay, so it was 63% if the youngest grandchild was under 10 years. It was only 33% once that kiddo got to 10 to 12 years. Just over 1 in 4 grandparents with a grandchild under 13 was providing childcare at least once a week. More frequent childcare, more likely for younger children. No surprises there. They also found that grandparent childcare is more often on a casual or occasional basis. Around about 62% of grandparent childcare comes in there compared to regular childcare, 39%, or school holiday care, which was 26%. About 1 in 5 grandparents provide a combination of these, like providing school holiday childcare as well as the occasional childcare. And last, but perhaps most important of all, most often grandparents provide childcare to support parents' work. Grandparents' desire to connect and build relationships with grandchildren and family was fundamental to them taking on this childcare. 2 things that I want to draw out of that last statement. Number 1, grandparents provide childcare to support parents' work most often. Jenny, you're in a wonderful position where you just want to spend time with your kiddo, your brand new baby, and therefore grandparents are stepping in to provide you with that support. That's a really wonderful and maybe even slightly privileged place to be. Take it, go with it, accept the privilege. It's brilliant. But the thing that I really want to zero in on is this. Grandparents' desire to connect and build relationships with grandchildren and family was fundamental to them taking on this childcare. Here's the thing. Grandparents don't need to do this. They've already raised their kids. They've got their retirement in front of them. They've got the money that they need. They've got the time they need to do the stuff that they want to do. And they're saying, I want to do this. I want to build my relationship with my grandkids. I want to support my own children because I love them. The unconditional acceptance that grandparents show towards grandchildren is a reflection of the love that they have for their children, but sometimes they didn't quite show it the right way. Now, every now and again, those grandparents are going to do things that we don't like. Like sometimes it really ticks us off because they feed them sugary treats or they literally have a disciplinary approach that is counter to what we're trying to create in our own home. I haven't found any evidence to indicate that there are any negative effects on the grandkids from this happening. I've only found positive effects of strong grandparent-grandchild relationships. My short advice is this: be grateful. The stakes are low here. Be grateful. The benefits are enormous for them, for your children, and for you. Let me go through a list of benefits real quick. I did some scouting around and some researching into academic papers, and here's what I found. Number one, grandparents feel young again. This is so good for them. Increased mental well-being and socialization. For who? For the grandparents. They have lower rates of depression and a more vigorous lifestyle. Plus, grandparents' emotional support can significantly impact their grandchildren's mental health. This is so valuable for them. Grandparents can be great teachers. Grandparents can have the opportunity to share their values, like the importance of, getting a good education, or she'll be right, mate. Just get up and have another go. There's so many teaching opportunities. Grandchildren keep grandparents strong. Grandparents get to strengthen bonds. There's physical and emotional support. There's the legacy creation. There's grandparents who are just helping out, making your life easier. There is a level of unconditionality, and I've experienced this with my own granddaughter. There is a level of unconditionality that grandparents feel towards their grandchildren that is, I don't know how to describe it. It just changes who you are. Research shows grandparents who are actively involved in their children's lives live 5 years longer than those who never babysit. I mean, this is so valuable. Please, please, please don't worry about the little things. They are little. They really are. Get the kids involved with them. This childcare option makes your life easier. It gives them a better lifestyle. It's good for the grandkids. It's an easy yes from me. Just say yes. Jenny, I hope that answers your question emphatically. If you would like to submit a question, if you'd like to know more about how you can make your family happier, just jump onto happyfamilies.com.au, scroll down until you get to the podcasts position, press the record button, leave your message. More than happy to answer it. Love answering your questions every Tuesday on the Happy Families podcast. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. For more information about making your family happier, you'll get the best info, the highest class, highest value impact via our Happy Families membership. Resources for you, resources for the kids. It's all there. happyfamilies.com.au. Check out our memberships today.